So I've been thinking a lot about disappointment and desire, and then God's role in that, in our relationship with those emotions. Because I've noticed within myself recently this tendency to um, inadvertently, I create a incongruity in goodness. Now, what do I mean by that? So I associate desires that I have that maybe even be fine, like good desires. There's nothing inherently sinful about them. But they're not desires that God needs to fulfill right now, is choosing to fulfill right now, maybe fulfill ever. The point is that I associate desires that I have with goodness, right? And then when that goodness isn't met, when the desire isn't fulfilled, it then becomes a crisis for me because I have to then figure out why God, the goodness, is not meeting my understanding or expectation of goodness, right? And so there's a trap there because, again, desire isn't sinful. It can be if it takes you over, it can manifest in all different kinds of sins. But as Christians, we're not supposed to be like Buddhists. Um, Desire, if we fully just suppress and repress desire and like nuke it from our lives, you're just driving yourself towards apathy. And Christians are nowhere close near being called to be apathetic. That's antithetical to the gospel. Um, so in no way are we supposed to suppress or repress our desires. Um, but we are supposed to order them. We're supposed to be controlling of them so that they don't control us. Don't just get rid of them, but also don't let them run rampant. But even if we're not letting them run rampant or denying them completely, and we just have like nice, good desires that maybe just aren't being fulfilled. For me, owning a home, um, having a wife, having a country that's powerful and secure and safe and wealthy, wealth for myself, a job that is easy and I make a lot of money, plenty of things that anybody would want for themselves, right? And none of them inherently bad. All of them, I think, pretty good, pretty upstanding. Even like, what would it be? Honorable desires, like there's a dignity to those desires. It's not like, hookers and booze. It's just human stuff. But I don't get them. And then when I don't get them again, because they're coming from a good place, there's a temptation then to question God and wonder why, why aren't you doing this for me? What am I doing wrong even, maybe? Why do I not deserve these things? And it just becomes a slippery slope. It takes you to a place where, and this is the problem that I've recognized, it takes you to a place where you're really just doing damage to yourself. There's obviously the point of it's just bad theology. You're misunderstanding God, sure. But also, even without that, I'm just doing damage because I'm not trying to misunderstand God. I'm not trying to cast God in a bad light. But again, that just causes confusion. So all I'm doing in the end is dealing damage to myself. What I just keep hearing from him is it not enough? Have I not given you enough? Are you not blessed? And I am. I cannot say that I'm not. Jesus never promised me a house. Jesus never promised me a wife. Jesus never promised me a powerful country. Jesus never promised me wealth beyond my wildest dreams. Jesus never promised me a really cool job. But it is also disappointing. It's really disappointing when you grow up in a country where the American dream, is the white picket fence in the house. There are things that generations before us had. You know, you go and work for the box factory and they give you a watch after 50 years in retirement and you got your Social Security. There are things that we just are not going to ever get. There are certain entitlements that the generations before us had that we don't get. And, you know, if you disagree with me on that, boomer, whatever. I'm wrong if that. But for the people that live in reality and have to actually deal with all of this, you know, like, the American dream has been compromised. It's gone. My generation does not get to access. And I don't even agree that's what the American dream is. I think that was always a misnomer. But that American dream, as it was defined for 50 years, is gone. And it's hard to not be resentful and angry and a little bitter. But again, Jesus never promised me any of those things. The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head at night. I cannot be upset with, or because I think that's even strong language. It's not like I'm angry at God because I'm not able to buy a house. It's just, I feel like there's like an implicit level of responsibility there to God, and that's incorrect. That's wrong, because he never promised me that. And so yes, maybe my earthly desires will not always be met, but they will be met at times. He takes care of us. Remember the birds of the fields, the birds of the air, the lilies of the field. But his promises are to my soul, to my eternal self. And the desires of my soul are what he promises to meet and fulfill. And for now, I'm blessed. I have enough to eat. I have a roof over my head. I have good friends and a great church. It's just easy to slip into that sometimes. And I don't know. I just felt like it was really being hammered on me today. I did not promise you any of that. I never promised you any of that. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. God bless.